what's up? It's BigJackFilms here, and welcome back to the InuYasha vlogs. This one's gonna be a tad bit short and quick to the point, even though we got 4 episodes to go through. But on top of that, probably not gonna edit many clips on this one because I'm getting ready for Fan Expo this week, which you guys can see me at the Metro Toronto Convention Center. But to the point, we are here. Last time we took a look at my personal favorite episode or story arc, The Tragic Love Song of Destiny, and now we're on the continuing story where we are currently today, which is the Princess Abbi and Holy One Hijiri arc. And this one I actually do remember watching on YTV back in the day when it was airing. So, what's the plot of this one? So we open up basically with, essentially there is another plague of demons that are attacking villages and killing people and sucking out their blood, and it's very much like Cell in Dragon Ball Z when he's sucking the blood and stuff out of people, which is really kind of creepy and interesting, and, you know, our heroes find all these villages slaughtered. But not only are they slaughtered by demons, they're slaughtered by a certain set of demons, which are these demon birds, which are pterosaurs. They're just pterodactyls. I mean, I look at these designs and I'm like, these are just pterodactyls. These are pterosaurs. And I think, okay, that's pretty cool. I imagine InuYasha Dinosaur 101 is going to have a field day with this because, hey, here's your InuYasha meets dinosaurs crossover, which is really cool, actually. I do like that they included that sort of thing, ideas for designs for demons. But it turns out these demons are being controlled by this ancient sorceress slash princess named Princess Abbi, known as the Birdmaster. It's very much like a Captain N title, if I ever saw one. But to the point, Abbi is basically grabbing these birds and using them to feed on the blood of humans to feed her mother, which we're keeping very anonymous because all we see is an eye in a mountain, which is really creepy and interesting. But of course, Naraku comes in and says, "Hey, Princess Abbi, I know you're not one of my incarnations, but you want to help me fight my enemies?" And Abbe's like, "Why? You're kind of an asshole." But basically, Naraku shows his allegiance to Princess Abbi in a very lying fashion and says, "Here's some tools for you, here's a Samyosho hive, here's a couple things, and a scepter, and this will help you fight my enemies with InuYasha." So, when InuYasha and Abbi do clash eventually in their first battle, it is a pretty interesting fight because she's using the scepter, or this this trident, which is really cool, that can block barriers because it's made from Naraku's bones. So obviously our heroes are like, great, another one of Naraku's incarnations, and Abbe's like, I don't know who this Naraku is, I'm not an incarnation, I'm just following orders. And with that said, basically it has caused a bit of a problem throughout the land with these birds and Princess Abbi. Meanwhile, we find out that a lot of these villagers have to seek help from this holy one named Hijiri, who is this ancient, mysterious figure. And so our heroes decide, okay, what's this Hijiri about? So let's go help these villagers out. Then they're ambushed by Hakudoshi and Kagra, who Kagra is now really trying to figure out how to take out Naraku once and for all. She's sick of him. And the first person she actually goes to is Sesshomaru, but Sesshomaru's not there currently. She only comes across Jockin and Ren. Eventually taking off and meeting up with Hakudoshi and the bird demons to fight InuYasha and essentially try to take out the villagers. But on top of that, find out that basically Hakudoshi and the birds, they're actually taking out the villages and trying to find Hijiri. So Hijiri is a bit of this problem. So as InuYasha's trying to fight Hakudoshi, he can't with his Tetsaiga because the barrier's too strong. It's Naraku's barrier. And even Kagome can't even take a shot at it. But lo and behold, all of a sudden, a sacred arrow appears strong enough to break the barrier, and InuYasha uses Tetsaiga and takes Hakudoshi out in a pretty interesting fashion. Hakudoshi is down for the count. He is injured, but he's not out. So he goes back to heal in his little shed up in the mountains and realizes, okay, this Hijiri needs to be taken out now. So they basically find the arrow, and at first InuYasha's like, I've seen this arrow before. And we assume that it's probably Kikyo. But apparently Kikyo's scent is nowhere to be found on the arrow. So it's not one of their allies. So who is this Hijiri? What is going on? What is happening? And Hijiri is basically this hooded white figure on a horse who does fire sacred arrows, so he does possess spiritual powers, and is followed by these 2 fairy-looking girls, one of them voiced by the chick who does, what is it, forget what her name is, I forget. The little girl from the Soul Piper episode. Whatever, Mayu, yes. who basically is, like, following Hijiri around, these two little fairies. So it's very much like Mothra, in a way, which is kind of cool. And even Abbe's having a problem with this, because she's like, ever since Naraku came in, I've had nothing but problems. So again, Hijiri needs to be taken out. With that said, we then cut to Kaede, who basically discovers from villagers that there was a set of lights that had taken something from Kikyo's gravesite. And, oh, we've seen this before. Okay, so it is hinting at essentially that Hijiri is actually Kikyo. But Kikyo died. Naraku killed her on Mount Hakure. Well, it turns out, much like King Kong lives, you can't keep somebody down going into a river. It turns out, yes, Kikyo is alive, but she's in a very terrible state because the miasma that Naraku hit her with has taken a bad toll on her body, and she's been using Shikigami powers to essentially heal herself, but it will not restore it fully. And the Shikigami are the two little Mothra fairy-looking things, which are pretty interesting. So we got new comrades for this episode. With that said, Kagura basically finds Hijiri, and so does InuYasha, immediately knowing it's Kikyo, decapitates her, and you're like, holy shit, she's dead already! But no, it was a Shikigami trick. It's very much like Naraku with his demon puppets. Meanwhile, Kagome and the others are fighting off Naraku's demons, and Kagome goes through to find soul collectors and follows them in. There's, of course, a barrier. Again, we've seen this before in the second season, and finds Kikyo healing in a big pool by a waterfall, which is sucking out miasma and is protected by the Shikigami. Shikigami do explain to Kagome that, hey, you need to heal her, you need to fix her. So Kagome goes in the water and uses sacred powers to basically heal Kikyo's wounds. While doing so, she sees the full picture of the backstory that we saw in the tragic love song of Destiny. So it wasn't just a one-off. They actually it does play a part in the canonical parts of the story. So with that full understanding, Kikyo's healed, she's alive, and a very cool shot I like where she's like out of the water and she turns back to Kagome, and it's a very kind of wet shot. It's a really beautiful scene. And essentially, InuYasha and the group show up too late, Kikyo has taken off, and basically InuYasha and Kagome of course get into an argument, and of course we're going back to find Princess Abbi, and finding the border, of course. That is the primary mission, to find the last jewel shard. And obviously, InuYasha thinks Kikyo will be okay. For the sake of Kagome, he does not chase after her. So what are my thoughts on this arc? It's pretty good. It's a decent return of Kikyo. I'm glad to see her again, that she is alive, and she will continue her quest and mission, no matter what it takes. This girl's a fighter. But it's all about, you know, setting up another villain, sort of a side villain for now, while Naraku's still doing his thing. And we have the return of Kikyo, we have these Shikigami characters, which are really cool. And it's a nice return to form. It's a nice return to get back to the plot, and in a really engaging 4-parter this time. This was 4 episodes. So I had a good time with this one. I'm really looking forward to see where it goes now from here on out. Definitely going to give this one a good 8.5 out of 10. This is one of the better story arcs of the season, next to Tragic Love Song, which it's taken this long to finally get to the plot, but you know what? It's all worth it. I'm having a good time. Let me know your thoughts on this one in the comment section below. Don't forget to support our Patreon. Just $1 more will get you early access to all of our content, as well as other special features. Tune in next time when I don't know what's going to happen. I'm oblivious to this point of the story. I know we're dealing with the Princess Abbi saga, but we're going to see where that turns out, because she is a pretty cool villain, and we're going to see where the adventures take us from here. So until the next video, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms signing off, and I will see you guys at Fan Expo this week. So until then, take it easy.